Alright everyone, so we got another video here from Swag Kage called Every Kage Level Naruto Character. Now I'm guessing he's probably going to go over every single character in the Naruto universe who could technically be classified as Kage level. It's not just the characters who have actually been given the official title of Kage, you know, all the Hokage, all the Kazekage, the Raikage, Tsuchikage, Mizukage. Obviously all of them would classify, you know, as Kage, who would actually be Kage level. But then you have characters who were never officially given the title but still have the power to be considered a Kage level character. Characters like Madara, characters like Kabuto, Sasuke, Sakura. Let's see who else. Tamari, I think, could also be considered Kage level. I do think she's powerful enough. I don't think a lot of people give her enough credit for just how strong she actually is. I think Tamari could also be, you know, put in the list of Kage level characters. Let's see who else. Excuse me. Let's see who else would probably be considered Kage level. Oh, you have I think Orochimaru. Absolutely, damn, forgot about him for a second. Orochimaru would definitely be considered Kage level. I think also, what's his name? I'm forgetting his name. Zabuza. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why I blanked out on his name. Zabuza, I think, could definitely be considered Kage level. Let's see who else. Haku, maybe. I mean, Haku was definitely stronger than Zabuza, so I do think that Haku could definitely be considered Kage level. But you know what, let's just go ahead and watch the video and we'll see who he puts on this list. But before we do, guys, as always, I do have to ask you that if you want to show your support for the channel, consider leaving a like, sharing this video out there, subscribe if you're new, make sure to ring the bell to be notified whenever I post a new video, and comment down below with your thoughts. And if you have any recommendations, if there are any videos out there you want me to watch, just let me know about them in the comments and I will get to them. So let's go ahead and watch this video. Oh, and make sure to check the description for links to this video as well as Swag Kage's channel. Make sure you head on over there, subscribe to him to go show him some support.
So first of all, obviously every Kage is Kage level, which means by default this list includes Hashirama, Tobirama, Hiruzen, Minato, Tsunade, Kakashi, Naruto, the first 3 Kazekage, Gaara's dad, Rasa, Gaara himself, the first 4 Raikage, Darui, the first Tsuchikage, Mu, Onoki, Kuratsuchi, the first 3 Mizukage, Yagura, Mei, and Chojuro. Characters with similar power to any of the people listed here should also be Kage level, so to figure out who all that describes, I'll begin by compiling a list of characters who can be directly compared to any of the existing Kage. Madara was Hashirama's lifelong
Madara definitely can be considered Kage level
during the Warring States period. When he was reanimated by Kabuto, he fought all 5 of the then present-day Kage and defeated them with ease. Then later, when he was properly brought back to life, he soundly beat both Hashirama and Tobirama. As the Ten Tails Jinchuriki, Obito fought the entire allied shinobi forces, including the first 4
Obito,
Kage
yeah, definitely.
at the same time.
Although,
before becoming the Jinchuriki,
I would say, I think he's probably about to mention, but yeah, even before he became the Ten Tails Jinchuriki, Obito was definitely Kage level. Like, he was someone who definitely should not be messed with. I think, again, it goes to people probably underestimating Obito, thinking that the only thing that made him a tough opponent to deal with was his ability to use Kamui. I think, yes, definitely Kamui is a very difficult ability, you know, to deal with. Kind of like how in Boruto, you had, you know, Jigen and Ishiki, he had, you know, Sukuna Hikona and Daikokuta, which definitely is a difficult ability to deal with. But I think that one of the reasons why it was so difficult is because it was in the hands of someone so powerful. And I think that that ability on its own wouldn't make someone so dangerous. If, let's say, someone who was Genin level was given Sukuna Hikona and Daikokuta, I don't think they would be that difficult to deal with. It's just that it was in the hands of someone who was already so incredibly powerful, and that's why they were so dangerous. And I think that applies to Obito, because if it was just Kamui and he himself wasn't really all that powerful, he wouldn't be that difficult of an opponent to deal with. But it's because he has it and he's so damn powerful that he's someone who should definitely be considered one of the strongest characters in the verse. I mean, obviously with Boruto, that list has gotten, you know, filled with characters that push some of the other characters from Naruto down, you know, further below down the list, is what I was trying to say. But it doesn't mean that, you know, they're not strong. It's just that now we've got characters who are even above them in terms of power, which is kind of typical. Like that just happens with shonen whenever the series, you know, moves forward, especially a battle shonen, they have a tendency to keep introducing powerful characters that make the ones that came before look like nothing. I mean, just look at what happened in Dragon Ball. You know, Dragon Ball, we got to the Frieza arc. You think that, okay, this is someone the entire universe is afraid of. How can you introduce someone so, you know, even more of a threat than Frieza? And then you get to the Artificial Humans arc. You've got 17 and 18. You've got androids 20 and 19, who are definitely stronger than Frieza. And we've never seen them do things like wipe out entire planets, entire galaxies, be feared by the entire galaxy. But from a power scaling perspective, they definitely dwarf Frieza in terms of power. So again, that's pretty normal in terms of shonen.
Maturity of the Ten Tails, he fought the fourth
Excuse me.
Hokage one-on-one, and even though he lost pretty badly, Minato recognized that Obito was very dangerous. At the 5 Kage Summit, he saved Sasuke from Inoki without even being detected, and later easily reacted to an attack from the Raikage. After Guy opens the 8th gate, Madara says he's the best taijutsu user he's ever seen, and the strongest person he's ever fought before, which makes him stronger
Guy, definitely.
than Hashirama.
Although I would say
Orochimaru
that Guy, even before he opened the 8 gates, could be considered Kage level. Like, he was strong.
assassinated Rasa, and while he didn't kill Hiruzen, he essentially forced him to kill himself to protect the village. He could also summon and command the first 2 Hokage with the reanimation jutsu, who, while weaker than they would be at full power, were described as fighting at Hokage level by spectators. Orochimaru is also generally considered to be relative in power to the other 2 Sannin, including Tsunade, the 5th Hokage. He was also a candidate to become the 4th Hokage, and it's implied the only reason he didn't get the position was because Hiruzen wasn't happy with the sort of person he was, not because he wasn't powerful enough. Like Orochimaru, Jiraiya should be relative
absolutely.
in power to Tsunade, and was also offered the position of Hokage on multiple occasions. With Yamato absorbed, Guru was able to make a wooden statue so dangerous that it forced Hiruzen and a bunch of other people accompanying him to stop in their tracks. During the 4th Great Ninja War, Sakura's power is directly compared to Tsunade's, and it's said that it might even exceed it. I know I'm putting him right after Sakura, but no, it has nothing to do with the fact that he fought her, okay? The reason Sasori's here is because he assassinated the 3rd Kazekage. Deidara fought and captured Gaara, and even though he won the fight through less than honest means, he still displayed a level of relativity to Gaara before he decided to bomb the village. Sasuke fought the Raikage on fairly even terms and then got stronger, like way stronger.
Way
I don't really
stronger.
want to include Boruto stuff in this video, but for the sake of convenience, I'll make an exception here and say that Sasuke is also considered Naruto's equal in the Boruto era. B's power is considered similar to the 4th.
And keep in mind, this is a Naruto who spent, you know, years training after the war arc. And I know there's a lot of people out there who think that Naruto's weaker than he was when he fought in the 4th Great Shinobi War, when he was given the power up by Hagoromo. But the truth is, that's not. The truth is, Naruto is stronger than he was back then. I know there are still people out there who probably still want to push this narrative that Naruto's weaker, but that's actually not the case. Naruto is definitely stronger, and this is a Naruto who has both halves of the Nine Tails, and we've seen what just one half of the Nine Tails was capable of. So now that he has the full Nine Tails, and he still has the chakra from the other tailed beasts, and he still has some of the power that was given to him by Hagoromo Otsutsuki, even though he took most of it back, he still has some of it, and all of that just makes him incredibly powerful. And during the, or not during the, sorry, in the Boruto data book, the Boruto movie data book specifically, we don't have any data books for the Boruto manga yet. I still don't know why that's the case, but in the Boruto movie data book, it stated that Naruto and Sasuke are pretty much equal in terms of power. So yeah, I mean, that should tell you that they have gotten pretty damn strong.
Raikages, and the 2 of them do act
to the point where, again, they were able to fight against fused Momoshiki at not even their full strength. Remember, Naruto had half of the Kyuubi's chakra absorbed from him by Momoshiki, and Sasuke used the Rinnegan to open a portal to the dimension that Momoshiki took them to, which he did state, like, just opening a portal uses up a ton of his chakra, and it actually uses up more when he transports other people with him. He transported the remaining 4 Kage, Boruto, and without him knowing, he also teleported Katasuke and his assistant. So because of that, Sasuke's chakra pool was nowhere near full. when he was fighting alongside Naruto against fused Momoshiki, who is confirmed to be stronger than Kaguya. I know, again, there's also a lot of people who like to downplay the power scaling in Boruto, but all the characters that you see in Boruto, or specifically most of the characters like Naruto, Sasuke, Momoshiki, all the Otsutsuki, they like to downplay them as saying that, oh, they're not as strong as Kaguya or Hagoromo or Madara, and it's like, no, they're all far stronger than them. It's confirmed by like multiple sources that, whether you're going by the manga, the movie, or the anime, that Momoshiki, even before he fused, even before he absorbed Kinshiki's power, was stronger than Kaguya. It's confirmed that that's the case. And yet, despite not being at full power, they were still able to fight against fused Momoshiki, which is, again, just a testament to just how strong they actually have become.
Actually fight at one point. Neither of them are using their full power here, but base to base, B straight up overpowers him. B's the last character who I think is certainly Kage level based on direct scaling to the other Kage, but there are some other characters I want to go over who are debatably Kage level through direct scaling as well. The characters included in this batch range from almost definitely Kage level to possibly Kage level, but probably not. They're not ordered based on likelihood or anything like that, so I'll provide my own opinion with each character here. Kakuzu fought Hashirama at some point in the past, but according to the third databook, lost the fight and almost died trying to escape. This isn't really indicative of anything, and even though he fought Naruto and Kakashi, two future Kage, it's debatable whether or not they were actually Kage level at this point, and Kakashi said he could have beaten Kakuzu if he had used the Mangekyo Sharingan, then Naruto actually did beat Kakuzu pretty much by himself. I'll talk about Kakuzu some more later, and for now I'll just conclude that if he is Kage level, it's definitely not because of any first-hand interactions he has with any of the Kage. The same way Madara was Hashirama's rival during the Warring States period, Izuna was Tobirama's rival. The databook claims the two had equal power, though Tobirama did eventually kill Izuna, so the two may have only been close in power, not outright equals. The only reason I consider him debatably Kage level rather than outright definitely Kage level is because it's unknown how strong Tobirama was during the Warring States period. He might not have been Kage level yet. Now, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that's probably not true, but it's impossible to know for sure. Kinkaku and Ginkaku mostly get credit for two things. First, nearly killing Tobirama and potentially injuring the second Raikage at a meeting between the two of them meant to establish a formal alliance between the Leaf and Cloud villages, and later actually killing Tobirama together with 18 other S-rank ninja. I don't think that these two things are particularly strong pieces of evidence, though. First, it's unknown what, if anything, happened to the second Raikage at the meeting between he and Tobirama, and even though it is impressive that Kinkaku and Ginkaku were able to come close to mortally wounding Tobirama, it's explicitly stated that they did this through a surprise attack, which means that Tobirama was off guard. Like I mentioned earlier, many people are also under the impression that they were part of the team that killed Tobirama, but I don't actually think they had anything to do with this. Tobirama was killed by a group of ninja named the Kinkaku unit, but this doesn't actually mean that Kinkaku and Ginkaku were part of the team. It could have, for example, been a team created to track down and kill Kinkaku and possibly Ginkaku as well, which is fairly likely since, as the fourth Raikage says, they're the worst criminals in the Cloud Village's history. It would be weird for criminals who supposedly tried to assassinate the second Raikage to be a part of the Cloud Village's military. And what makes it even more unlikely that they were part of the
unless it happened before then, which I don't think that's the case.
That he's the one who revived them with the reanimation jutsu. The strongest piece of evidence that supports these two being Kage level is something the fourth Raikage says about them, or more specifically says about Kinkaku, which is, hurry, if Kinkaku is transformed, we won't be able to stop him. A could be wrong, but I think what's more likely than that, at least, is that he may not be talking about he and Tsunade fighting Kinkaku. He could be using we to refer to the Allied Shinobi Forces, specifically the members of the Allied Shinobi Forces who are currently fighting Kinkaku. Personally, I think these guys probably are Kage level based on what's said about them. I think it's extremely likely, but I wouldn't blame anybody for being skeptical. A lot of characters seem to be under the impression that Fugaku should have been the fourth Hokage instead of Minato, but most if not all of these characters are members of the Uchiha clan, so their point of view may be a bit biased. If I take the anime filler into consideration, I think it's a lot more likely that he's Kage level since he has the Mangekyo Sharingan there and claims that he can even control the Nine Tails, but other than that, I think that there's very little actual evidence that he was Kage level.
I don't know if I would consider the anime filler, into consideration when it comes to these topics, because again, it is filler, and sometimes the filler just doesn't really line up with what we know. It's just, sometimes it has contradictory information. Like for example, the filler that showed us Kaguya's story when she landed on Earth, and goes on to tell us how she ate the chakra fruit and cast the infinite Tsukuyomi, gave birth to Agrom and Hamura. Yeah, I wouldn't really count that as being canon, because we also have things in the Boruto manga now that completely contradict that. We have the story officially that she came to Earth with Ishiki, and yet that filler didn't show any of that. And also, when in the manga, and I think this was also in the anime, correct me if I'm wrong, but when Amida was giving the story about Ishiki's arrival to Earth with Kaguya, when we flash back to Kaguya, we see that she has the horns, like all the other Otsutsuki clan members do. But in the filler, it's shown that she only got the horns after she ate the chakra fruit, including the Rinne Sharingan on her forehead. She only got that after she consumed the chakra fruit, which turns out that's not really the case. She had it before she came to Earth. So there you go. That's why I rarely consider. I mean, unless you're telling me like the original creator was actually involved in it, which I doubt that, if I'm being honest. So yeah, when it comes to anime filler, I personally, for me, I just completely ignore it.
Danzo being in the debatable section might seem weird since he was actually offered the position of Hokage, but it was only a temporary thing. He didn't have his face carved into the side of the mountain or anything like that, and Tsunade was supposed to take the position back from him as soon as she recovered from the injury she sustained during Pain's assault. If Danzo had actually become the 6th Hokage, I'd have no choice but to consider him Kage level, but because of the nature of his promotion, I don't know exactly how to categorize him. Based on his fight with Sasuke, I think Danzo is weaker than all of the other present-day Kage, even Mei, who most people consider to be the weakest of the 5. Her lava-style jutsu was at least considered dangerous by Madara. Meanwhile, Danzo couldn't do anything to Sasuke Susanoo. The best way I can articulate how I feel is to say if Danzo had actually become the 6th Hokage, there would be more characters on this list as a result of Kage level being a lower bar to clear. Kabuto says that if Kimimaro hadn't been sick during and had been present for the assassination of the 3rd Hokage, the mission would have gone smoothly and Orochimaru wouldn't have lost his arms. There are multiple ways to interpret this, one way being that Kimimaro, without being weakened by a sickness, may have been around as strong as, if not stronger than, Hiruzen was. Obviously, that's not necessarily the case, but I'm not going to outright dismiss it. Zabuza did plan on assassinating the Mizukage at some point, but he never actually did it. In fact, the entire reason he had to go rogue was because he tried to do it and failed. Maybe the fact that he thought he could kill the Mizukage is indicative of him being Kage level, but I doubt it. Yugito was one of the Jinchuriki reanimated by Kabuto and made into one of Obito's 6 paths of pain. The 4th Mizukage Yagura was another one of them, and all 6 of the Jinchuriki seemed fairly close in power when they fought Naruto and Bee. It's hard to prove that she's actually as strong as Yagura using this fight, but if she is, she should be Kage level. Same thing as Yugito. Also the same thing as Yugito.
So he's just gonna go over all of them.
Same thing as Yugito and the other Jinchuriki. Fu's the last of the 6 Jinchuriki that fought Naruto and Bee, and like them, she seems to be around as strong as Yagura. Next, I'll be listing characters who are Kage level through indirect or second-hand scaling, characters who have shown that they're as strong as or stronger than characters who have already proven to be Kage level. Basically, if they're relative to or stronger than any of the characters I've already talked about or any of the characters I'm about to talk about, they'll show up in this section of the list. Like before, I'll start with characters who I think are definitely Kage level, and I'll get into debatable cases afterwards. According to Sasuke, Kaguya is stronger than Madara, and she routinely displays that she's stronger than all 4 members of Team 7 and Obito. When Hagoromo meets Naruto and Sasuke, he says Madara is approaching his level of power, implying he hasn't quite reached it yet. Also, he and his brother created the moon at the end of their fight with Kaguya in the process of sealing her away. Even ignoring these 2 things, his reputation as the Sage of 6 Paths speaks for itself. Hamura should be comparable in power to Hagoromo, and even if he's not, he did help create the moon and beat Kaguya, so, you know. Toneri seemed confident that he could survive the Earth and the moon crashing into each other, and he was also able to fight Naruto, who fought a much stronger version of Sasuke than the one that fought the Raikage. Pain killed Jiraiya and is almost definitely blatantly stronger than Deidara and Sasori.
Easily.
Hanzo slaughtered a whole platoon of Konoha ninja during the Second Great Ninja War and was so impressed that the only survivors, Jiraiya, Orochimaru, and Tsunade, didn't die that he dubbed them the Sannin. It's fair to argue that the Sannin may not have been in their prime here and may not.
Also, just to give you, let me see here, hold on. When it comes to Pain,
one that fought the Raikage. Pain killed Jiraiya and is almost definitely blatantly stronger than Deidara and Sasori.
So, hold on. when it comes to pain, just as an example of how strong this dude actually is, this guy used Shinra Tensei to destroy the Leaf Village after Conan explicitly warned him not to do it because it would severely drain his chakra. But, you know, he was in that mind state. This is the village that's basically responsible for a lot of the pain that he suffered in his life. So obviously he wasn't really, you know, being logical at that point. He was a little emotional. So he decided to do it. And like Conan said, used up a lot of his chakra. And literally right after he cast the jutsu, Naruto shows up in perfected sage mode. And it's highly implied that Naruto surpassed Jiraiya, at least, you know, when it comes to using sage mode. And you saw how an imperfect sage mode was used, you know, by Jiraiya, and how much trouble it gave Pain. Naruto had the perfected version of that, was able to take out most of the paths of Pain, and despite that, Pain still won. At the end of the day, he still had enough power to compete with a perfected sage mode Naruto. Like, that's just how strong this dude actually is. And it's also highly implied that Naruto, when he perfected sage mode, became stronger than a Mangekyo Sharingan Sasuke. So that should tell you again just how strong this dude actually is.
Blatantly stronger than Deidara and Sasori.
And keep in mind, this was all done by Pain, which are implied to be weaker than Nagato himself, because we saw when Nagato fought against KCM1 Naruto and Killer B, he nearly took them out. And that was by someone else controlling him. So who's to say what Nagato fighting on his own will be able to do against him? I'm assuming he would be able to perform a lot better because he knows his abilities better than Kabuto. So Nagato on his own would actually be a lot stronger. Like, I'm still wondering why he was using the paths of pain, why he didn't just go himself. Like, why didn't he ever just, like, because we saw what happened in the Fourth Shinobi War when he was absorbing chakra using the Breda path. He was able to go from looking like that thin, sickly figure to how he looked like before. I don't know. I mean, that just always kind of struck me as a little bit weird.
Hanzo slaughtered a whole platoon of Konoha ninja during the Second Great Ninja War and was so impressed that the only survivors, Jiraiya, Orochimaru, and Tsunade, didn't die that he dubbed them the Sani. It's fair to argue that the Sani may not have been in their prime here and may not have even been Kage level when this fight happened, but years later, when Jiraiya infiltrates the Hidden Rain village and finds out that Hanzo's dead, he can't believe it. He considers it impossible for anyone to kill Hanzo on their own. I know this is weird, but Mifune just straight up beat Hanzo in a fight. He was so fast that Hanzo couldn't even weave seals against him, and when the two of them fought at some point in the past, Hanzo remarked that he couldn't make any mistakes while fighting Mifune. Again, I know it's weird, but this guy's just a monster, I guess. It's said that in Sakumo's time, the Sannin paled in comparison to him, and he shouldn't have died too long before Orochimaru was considered a viable candidate for the 4th Hokage. Orochimaru openly admits Itachi's stronger than him in part 1, and even though he says this after his arms have been sealed and he's become substantially weaker as a result, he also cites his inferiority to Itachi as the reason he left the Akatsuki. Orochimaru tried to steal Itachi's body quite some time after being considered a candidate for the 4th Hokage, so even if I use the least charitable interpretation of this statement possible, Itachi should be well above Kage level based on this interaction. After Kabuto revives him with the reanimation jutsu, Itachi shows that he's at least as strong as Sasuke, who at this point was way stronger than he was when he fought the Raikage. Deidara also seems to think Itachi's stronger than him, and this is practically confirmed when Obito reveals to Sasuke, who had already beaten Deidara in a one-on-one fight at this point, that Itachi could have won their fight if he'd actually been trying. Kisame beat Killer B and was able to fight and react to 7th Gate Guy, though it is possible to argue that these two examples don't prove he's Kage level. B spent most of the second half of his fight against Kisame focused on protecting two bystanders, and Kisame didn't actually beat Guy in their fight. Having said all that, at the beginning of his fight with B, Kisame was, while in base, able to clash with and arguably even overpower version 1 Cloak B. Sounds Kage level to me. Kabuto revived and summoned an army of ninja, many of whom were themselves Kage level. Even without his summons, once he's entered Sage mode, the least charitable I can be to him is to say that he's at least vaguely relative in power, speed, ninjutsu skill, and genjutsu skill to the strongest version of Itachi ever shown to the audience. That takes care of all of the concretely Kage level characters that I'm aware of, so now I'll move on to less clear-cut cases. Again, from here on out I'm getting into debatable territory, and the characters I'm about to mention are anywhere from almost absolutely 100% definitely Kage level to probably not Kage level, but worth mentioning for the sake of being thorough. Ashura's never actually shown fighting anybody, but he is able to use the same 3-headed, 6-armed avatar that Naruto uses in his fight against Sasuke, and also he received all of Hagoromo's power, so he should probably have power that's at least somewhat comparable to his dad's. The manga doesn't make it clear if Indra and Ashura were still equals after Ashura received all of Hagoromo's power, but the manga and the databooks do imply that Indra naturally inherited a lot of Hagoromo's power anyway. Conan damaged Obito.
It does kind of suck because I do like I do wish we kind of would have seen that. And again, I'm not counting the filler because that was dumb, that was stupid. There's just a lot of it there that didn't really make a lot of sense. I liked it at first when they were going through their childhood and showing Indra's progression, like how he was able to easily grasp, you know, ninjutsu or ninshu as it was called back then. And then, all right, sorry about that, guys. I had to go take care of something for a bit. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, I do kind of wish we would have actually seen like the story between Indra and Ashura fleshed out a bit more in the manga. I'm not counting the, you know, the anime filler, as I said, because I usually don't count anime filler. I did like, again, what I saw at first, you know, the whole them going through their childhood and showing Indra's progression, and Ashura, the fact that he was struggling, again mirroring, you know, Naruto and Sasuke's journey through life, how Sasuke was able to grasp things a lot easier when it comes to ninjutsu as opposed to Naruto, who was struggling. But then everything that came after that, it just completely fell apart for me towards the end. Like again, him or Ashura being granted you know, Hagoromo's power, that of course lines up with, you know, the actual canon story, but like the fallout between the two, I don't know, I wasn't really a big fan of it. It just felt a little weak, you know, to me. But let's go ahead and continue with this video
in their fight and immediately earned his respect for doing so. It's made pretty clear he wasn't going all out when this happened though, so it's difficult to extrapolate how strong she is from this. It is worth mentioning that with prep time she was able to turn an entire body of water into 600 billion paper bombs, which is very impressive, almost certainly a Kage level feat. Hidan and Kakazu fought Yugito together and later fought Kakashi, but Hidan didn't beat Kakashi, and the bulk of the fight with Yugito isn't shown. It's reasonable to assume that Hidan beat Yugito with his Jashin ritual based on the aftermath of the fight, and since that bypasses durability completely, and because in what is shown of the fight, Yugito is straight up beating Hidan and Kakazu, and because the two of them fought her together, and because she's only debatably Kage level to begin with, I don't think it's
if you note here that I think Yugito and Jinchuriki were Kage level because they kept pace with Naruto and B, but they were likely being answered by Obito like Nagato's as a pain were
reasonable to claim that Hidan is Kage level based on any of this. The best argument in Hidan's favor is that most of the other members of the Akatsuki are Kage level, but he says himself that he's the weakest, so even this doesn't help him very much. I'll admit, maybe Kakazu shouldn't be in the debatable section, maybe I just hate him, but like Hidan, he doesn't have any direct lines of scaling to any characters who are definitely Kage level, and everything I said about Hidan's fight with Yugito applies to him too. As I mentioned earlier in the video, Kakashi thought he could have killed Kakazu with the Mangekyo Sharingan, and Naruto straight up blitzed him twice when they fought. Suigetsu was briefly able to contend with Killer Bee's 8-Tails transformation. He was also able to blow a hole in Guru Guru's head. With her chains, Karine was able to blow up Guru Guru's statue, but it's unclear if this was something she can do consistently. In this moment, she's definitely Kage level, but a lot of this strength seems to come from her desire to save Sasuke.
Yeah, I do think that was probably just a one-time thing, you know, prompted by her emotions and wanting to get to Sasuke as quickly as possible, because she was able to sense that his life was slowly going away, so she needed to head over there quickly.
Lee kicked Madara in half, but he was being amped by Naruto's 9-Tails chakra, so I don't know if it counts. Tenten effortlessly destroyed some of Kakazu's hearts with the 6 pads tools left behind by Kinkaku and Ginkaku. Tenten's only in contention for Kage level when she's armed with these 6 pads tools, though. Sai blitzed Deidara and Sasori, but he could have just been way stronger in this moment as a result of being really pissed off or something. If he is strong enough to do this regularly, then Sai is Kage level for sure, but this could just be an outlier. This guy is really weird. Aoba fought Kakazu in hand-to-hand combat for a minute, and Kabuto seemed to think his presence was
Did he have to pick this frame?
He's in better shape than B after both of them have about the same amount of chakra absorbed from them by Kisame. So I don't know, man. Shisui might have been stronger than Fugaku, and his Mangekyo Genjutsu was really strong, but he doesn't actually have any Kage level feats, just hype and statements. Okay, so Kankuro definitely isn't actually Kage level, but
No.
he has Sasori's puppet body, and some people assume that he's as strong as Sasori with it, so I think it's a stretch, but I figured I had to put him here. Chiyo regularly fought Hanzo in his prime, but it's unclear if she fought him one-on-one or as part of a team. She and Tsunade were also rivals during the Second Great Ninja War, and when she met Kakashi, who she thought was Sakumo the White Fang, she immediately tried to kill him with her bare hands, without even using her puppets, implying she thought that even while holding back and even well past her prime, she was strong enough to kill him. Haku blitzed Kakashi during the Fourth Great Ninja War, and by this point Kakashi had been considered as a candidate for Tsunade's temporary Hokage replacement. Like a lot of other characters here, this could have been a mental amp thing, but it's not exactly an outlier since he did the same thing on the bridge in Part 1. He's also stronger than Zabuza, who, like I said, thought he could kill the Mizukage. Kitsuchi, yeah.
Like I said, I think that Haku could be considered to be Kage level because he is someone who was considered to be a prodigy. I can talk. A prodigy at such a young age, even by Zabuza, who said that he had actually become stronger than him or had the potential to become stronger than him. It's been a while since I've, read the manga or watched the anime, so I'm a little iffy on the details.
This guy, I know most of you probably don't remember him. Anyway, Kitsuchi trapped the Geto Mazo between massive earth structures and straight up boxed with Kinkaku. Nagato thought Yahiko was strong, I guess. He probably wasn't Kage level, but Hanzo did kill him using underhanded tactics, so maybe he really was secretly a monster. Who knows?
Yeah,
anyway,
Nagato
that's
technically
everybody
killed
at
him.
least that I can think of. If I forgot anyone, feel free to yell at me in the comments. Also, feel free to subscribe if you want to. Don't worry about it if you don't. Thanks for watching the video all the way through to the end. Take care as always and have a fantastic day. Swag Kage out. Bye. So the Bluebird outro remix keeps getting copyright claimed randomly, so I'm just gonna avoid the headache with that and not use it anymore. But I don't want to gut the outro completely, so I'll pick a new song. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know in the comments.
Okay, yeah, that's I know what that feels like. I mean, even though it is a remix, so technically it should be fine because remixes don't actually fall under, well, technically they do fall under fair use because I think, if I remember correctly, because it's, it's a remix, so it's not the actual song, so it should be fine. I mean, usually whenever people, for example, use or they make a cover song, they record themselves singing a song, but they play with the actual melody of the song so that it sounds a little bit like the original song, but it's not, like you can tell. And they do that because it's a good way to avoid copyright. And also I think covers of songs do fall under the protection of fair use, so honestly, like, he shouldn't be claimed for using the remix of Bluebird. So yeah, I mean, at the same time I do get it, because look, YouTube's copyright system, they still haven't fixed it. It's still broken as well. People are still allowed to make false copyright claims, and even though you fight them and you win them, for some reason YouTube, who, keep in mind, one of their policies is that if you file a false copyright claim, then you lose your ability to ever file a copyright claim again, and yet somehow they still allow that same person to file copyright claims even though you've fought against them and you've made it very clear this is a false copyright claim, and YouTube actually agrees with you. They don't take away the ability to file a false copyright claim, or to file any copyright claim from that person. They don't take away their right to, their ability to do that. They still allow them to, which just goes to show you again, YouTube still has a lot of things that need to be fixed about its system. So I can understand where he's coming from. So I guess maybe he's going to pick a new one because he just doesn't want to deal with the headache anymore. Again, I get it. I mean, I've been there. Like, there have been videos that I've wanted to upload to reactions that I couldn't upload because YouTube, its bot catches like a song and it says that, yeah, sorry, we caught the song, it's copyrighted, we can't allow you to upload the video. But at the same time, I'm asking myself, well, wait a minute, why is my reaction not allowed on YouTube? Why is this being blocked, but the actual video in and of itself is fine, nothing happens to it. So what the hell's going on here? It's just part of, you know, the thing that the things that you kind of have to deal with when it comes to YouTube. You know, it sucks, but it is what it is. I mean, there's nothing you can really do at this point, so you just have to sit back and wait until YouTube just gets their shit together. But anyway, guys, that's going to be the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, you know what to do. Leave a like, share this video out there, hit the subscribe button if you're new, ring the bell for notifications. And when it comes to his list, I don't think there are any characters he left out. Again, like, we're not going into Boruto level characters because there's a lot of characters in that series that you can put on this list. But I can't think of any characters from Naruto that he left out that could be considered Kage level. I mean, unless like him, that there's a character that I'm not really thinking of at the moment. If there are, tell me in the comments. But I'm gonna end this video right here and look forward to the next one. Bye for now.